Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
So we have officially made it to Diddy trial day number 27, week number 7, and the prosecution is expected to rest their case today. First, let's recap day number 26. Day 26 was filled with explosive information. Let me tell you, it was a lot. This day was all about bombshell testimony, behind-the-scene logistics, foreclosing arguments, and chilling text messages that added fuel to an already raging fire. The biggest headline: Brendan Paul finally took the stand. Yes, Diddy's former assistant, often dubbed as his alleged DRUG mule, broke it all the way down. From working 80 to 100 hours a week to packing joints, booking hotels for the Wild King nights, and even delivering ecstasy and cocaine to Diddy. Paul admitted that he was told to move like SEAL Team 6 and said his job was to make sure that Combs was always happy. He testified about being fired for forgetting a Lululemon fanny pack, cleaning up baby oil and liquor bottles after Wild King parties, and being reimbursed through Diddy's enterprise after using his own card for supplies. He also continued he was arrested in March 2024 for cocaine found in his bag, meant for Diddy, and chose not to tell law enforcement it wasn't his. Why? He said because of loyalty. As the day went on, we also heard from Homeland Security agent Joseph Cerciello, who took the stand walking the jury through travel receipts, Instagram metadata, and hotel damage reports. We're talking bodily fluids, broken furniture, and cash deposits linked to several people, such as Jane, Reggie, Paul, and Diddy himself. Now, the court is preparing for closing arguments this week. The judge ordered the government to finalize a laptop for the jury with only the evidence that was officially admitted, no extras, and the physical evidence like DRUGS or weapons will stay in the courtroom but can be shown to the jury if they ask for it. We're in the final stretch. The government is expected to wrap up their closing arguments today, and the defense could rest by Wednesday. Jury instructions and closing arguments could happen as soon as Thursday. Now, here's the real question. How do you think this case is going to end up? Is Diddy going to be locked up, or is he going to be let free? We are going to get into this and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. So uploaded recently, we have a blank verdict sheet from the federal criminal case against Sean Combs, aka Diddy, in the Southern District of New York. So here's what it shows. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. So the jury is asked to decide if Diddy is guilty or not guilty of being involved in a RICO conspiracy. And if they find him guilty, they must also decide if the racketeering activity involved kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness or victim tampering, forced labor, sex trafficking, transportation of prostitution, inducement to travel for prostitution, or DRUG trafficking. They also have to specifically determine if the sex trafficking involved Cassandra Ventura Cassie or Jane the anonymous accuser. Count 2 to 5, the jury must also separately decide if Diddy is guilty of these individual federal crimes: sex trafficking, transportation with the intent to commit prostitution, that one's for Cassie, sex trafficking, and also transportation with the intent to commit prostitution with Jane. Now, what I'm showing you is the jury form, meaning it's used after the trial to record the jury's decisions on each charge. The check boxes are not filled in, so this copy is blank and does not show the verdict. The final section tells the jury foreperson to sign and date it after they've completed all answers and notify the marshal. So Agnifilo starts the day and he says, on scheduling, we agree to the U.S.'s proposal that summation start Thursday, which means closing arguments. Prosecution says yes, our summary witness we now believe will go into tomorrow. Then we understand the defense case will consist of reading in some exhibits. Judge says the jury is ready. All rise. The jury then enters. Jurors, thank you for braving the heat. Welcome back. Agent Cerciello, you are now still under oath. Prosecution says, I would like to enter sealed exhibits. Please turn off the public screens. Prosecution says, this flight? Agent Cerciello says, to and from Las Vegas to Van Nuys. He pronounces it Van Nuys. Paul, author on this flight. Prosecution says, in these messages, Puff, Christina Coram, and someone named Anika. Prosecution continues. Let's listen to Mr. Combs' 5 audio messages. Please put on headphones now. The public cannot hear. Prosecution continues. What's this? GX 1406, page 1. Were there explicit videos cited in this chart? What do they show? Yes, sexually explicit videos. Is there one woman in them? Jane. I also recognize Cabral and Sean Combs. And other men? Yes. Other men? Cerciello says yes. Let's play some videos with the attorney screens off. While the videos are being played, Combs takes off and then puts back on his glasses, leans over to pick up something from the floor, and then sits back up. The jury watched at least 13 clips of sexually explicit videos recorded in November 2021, December, February 2022, August 2022, and October 2022. The jury watched more than 12 minutes of the footage. The jurors listened through headphones as they watched the clips. The public and the press cannot see the videos, which are under seal. The panel watched the videos after Joseph Cerciello, a special agent for Homeland Security investigations testifying on the stand, referred to a summary chart compiled by the prosecution. Now, the chart referenced sexually explicit videos showing Jane, who testified under a pseudonym in this trial, and dated Sean P. Diddy Combs from 2021 to 2024 with other men, and Combs also can be seen in the videos. The chart cites several other explicit videos that the jury did not view. Cerciello confirmed that there's about 50 explicit videos that were recorded December 17th through the 21st, 2021. Prosecution continues. Can we go to the 5-minute mark? Looking at row 16, does it also have an explicit video? Yes. Play it and then take it down. Okay, let's now go to chart 1408. Who are the names? Jane, Jonathan Perez, Trump International Hotel. What is the address listed? 1 Central Park West, Manhattan. Okay, so for 7Y-120, what is the room number? 0508. Judge says, Ms. Comey, could we turn back on the public exhibit screen? Ms. Comey says, we are about to show an exhibit with Jane's true name. If you like me to be turning it on and off. Whose name is this on the American Express bill? Sean Combs. What was the cost of the stay? $2,890. Who paid for Jane's travel? Please turn off the public exhibit screen. Bad boy. And who paid for Cabral's travel? Jane. And what is this? A wire from Sean Combs to Jane for $5,000. Okay, turn off the public exhibit screens. Does Robin Greenhill write, please send $5,000 to Jane, but show her true name? Yes. And who is being paid for here? Public screens are still off. Brendan Paul, Cabral Williams, and Jane with the American Express. Jessica Ruiz, Opco LLC. Okay, agent, do you recognize this? Oh, this has Jane's information in it. We need to keep the public screens off. Please walk us through the columns of this chart. Cerciello says it has to, and, from, and the consent, the source of the information. Okay, and what's this? Jane to Sean Combs asking, should we have Jess look into flights? Let's look at the exhibit. Public screens are off. Is this from Mr. Combs to Jane? Yes, he asks, tell me when you can come. She says night. Then what? Jane writes, I'm not coming to New York. I feel disrespected. You just want me for a hotel binge. Then she writes, I don't want to be used and locked up in a room to fulfill your fantasies. Sean Combs says, that was podcast talk. Okay, and then what? Jane writes, I don't want to feel obligated to perform these nights for you in fear of losing the roof over my head. How does Mr. Combs respond? He writes, girl, stop. Then some audio messages are sent. What does Jane send to Combs? A photo. Then Jane asks, I don't have time to bring heels. If someone can get them, that's cool. What does Combs text Jane here? He asks, movie or entertainment tonight? Let me know if the hotel is needed. Who are the participants here? Fahim and Brendan Paul. After the show, Jane is in town. Room at the Trump. Man down. Your Honor, I think this is a good time for a break. Judge says, okay. Okay, and so they go on break. Okay, 11:23, break time is over. Prosecution says, what does Fahim text to Jonathan? We're on the way up in the elevator with Jane. What is this? A Trump International Hotel record. What does Frank Rodriguez text to Fahim? Bring Gucci bag. What does Jane text to Cabral Williams? Would you like to come to NYC? What does Fahim text to Jane? We'll come with the cash. Then Jane to Cabral, just need your DOB and your driver's license number. Then prosecution says, then Jane sends a message to Cabral. How much time before he says can come up in a second? About 10 hours. Now, the jury saw text messages that Sean Diddy Combs sent to an entertainer from the Cowboys for Angels escort service, telling him when to arrive at the hotel room. Hours later, an employee from Cowboys for Angels texted Combs saying he still needed to pay $600. Combs said, laugh out loud, he couldn't even perform. The employee explained that Combs was paying for the man's time. Combs told the employee that she needed to be nice to him, adding that he was a long-time customer. The jury also saw messages between Jane and Sly, one of the other entertainers. Okay, let's go to page 71, line 770. Public screens are off. Cerciello says, text to Brendan Paul about sending out a nurse and bag. What does Brendan text? All IBs would be the same. Okay, you read Mr. Combs, I'll read Christina Coram. Prosecutionist Coram says, you can't just leave me like that. Lit after partying and not tell anyone? That is when bad shit happens. You know that. Cerciello as Combs says, did you get the drip? Christina says, Chelsea will move to the house once Jane leaves. Options were here at the Mandarin and another. King room for now. Cerciello as Combs says, I need to get her a suite. Keep her at the Addition. Okay, and what's this? Financial record notes, Jane to Cabral Wallace, Sly Diddler. Play Combs' voice message to Paul Arthur. Combs says, hit me up when you're close. Okay, what does Jane text to Cabral? So horny, need to see you. Then what does Jane text? Travel agent finally woke up. You're coming. What's this number? Jessica Ruiz. Okay, play Combs' message to Coram. Hey, KK, we need more baby oil. 20 bottles in this motherfucker. Play Mr. Combs' voice message. Hey, Jess, I need to get him from Atlanta to here. Let me know. Hit me up. Does Cabral Williams send his date of birth and Jane sent it to Combs, then Combs to Ruiz? Yes, then Ruiz books it. What does KK text to Combs? I ordered the fruit plates. I'll have to bring your phone to you. Play the message from Combs to KK. Combs says, I have to run out of town real quick, like family emergency. Know what I'm saying? What does KK say? She says, suggest you say something came up and not lie about leaving town. I think she wants to hear from you directly. You could suggest dinner tomorrow. Okay, and what's this? Guido to Combs. Okay, play the voice message. Combs' voice says, I need 5 more bottles of each so I don't have to ask nobody and my Apple TV since I'm staying here. He also asked for some ladles and some vegetable soup. Combs says, can security bring me 5,000 and anything else y'all think I might need? In Cialis, I'm going to keep calling y'all unless you think of everything I'm going to need. What is this text from Fahim? Taking 5,000 to him now. What does Jessica Ruiz text to Sean Combs? Had to change drivers, then Jane texted to Cabral Williams. What are the next 4 videos? Explicit videos about 45 minutes later. Then JP Morgan to Arthur Fitness, $1,000. What does Jane send to Sean Combs? I'm heading there. Will let you know when I'm 5 minutes away. Paul coming up. Line 337, walk us through. Okay, the London Hotel in LA, room 229, in the name of Chavez, with damage. Line 340, check-in record for the London Hotel. Okay, play the voice message. Sean Combs says, should I book the room? It's a yes or no answer. Thumbs up or thumbs down. What does Jane respond? I need to shop to celebrate. Line 350, who sends a text to Jane? Christina Coram asking for Jane's account information. She says Bank of America and an account number. She writes, want to send one of the guys here to drop everything off? And Combs says, no, I don't want them to know. Play Combs' audio to Jane. I sent you 15K, baby girl. What does Combs text to Paul Arthur? You in LA? He says yes. Then I'ma hit you later. Okay, play Combs' voice message. Combs says, you want to meet up at 9:45? Can you get 5,000 to Fahim? What does Combs text to Jane? Paul gonna meet us at 9:30. Play Combs to Frank Rodriguez. Combs' voice says, Frank, make sure that room is set up right. What does Rodriguez write? Medical grade K, MDMA. What does Jane text to Cabral? To call Rodriguez. What does Rodriguez text to Combs? A photo and message. This is all they got left of the blues. I'll read Jane, you read Combs. As Jane, it says, it's been 3 years of me having to FUCK strangers. I can't be in another hotel room performing for days. Cerciello as Combs says, let me make love to you. Jane says, spend the day with Gina. I'm not trying to FUCK strangers. You want to have me SUCK some DICK so you can jet off with Gina. Combs says, are you going to let me in your house? 5 times, he asked. Jane says, I just put my child to bed. The jury saw records from the days around October 18, 2023, when Jane and Combs had a sobriety party in Beverly Hills, California around that time. Now, Joseph Cerciella confirmed this is the summary chart's last entry before Cassie Ventura's November 2023 civil lawsuit against Combs. Cerciella walked through some messages between Jane and Sean Combs from the days before the sobriety party, which the jury had previously seen. In the messages, Jane said in part that she didn't want to be mistreated and I don't feel like performing loveless cold sex. The jury saw messages indicating Jane went to Combs' Los Angeles home the next day in a later conversation. Christina Coram, who was Combs' chief of staff, messaged Combs' assistant Brendan Paul and other assistants about prepping a hotel room, according to messages seen by the jury. The jury also saw messages between Combs and an escort from Cowboys for Angels, coordinating the time to go to the hotel. Hours later, Combs sent an entertainer named Paul the hotel information. Records showed $3,000 was deposited into an account of the entertainer shortly after. In the days following the hotel reservation, Jane messaged Combs asking if she could put something in her account, saying that she felt violated and manipulated. Who texts Combs the next day? Gina. Then what does Combs text to Jane? He texts, I'm horny as F-U-C-K with numerous C's. And who is Combs texting with? A man named RICO Love. What does Jane text to Combs? Baby, I'm here. What does Combs text to RICO's? L'Armitage, let me know when you're there. Then Combs' voice note says, yo, what's the name and room number? Okay, and what does Combs text to RICO? Room is Paul. Okay, prosecution says, I'll read Jane, you read Mr. Combs. Jane says, make sure not to leave me high and dry. Put something in my account. Combs says, hey, how are you? Prosecution says, was that 3 days later? Yes. Then $3,000 sent to JP Morgan Chase. Who texts Jonathan Perez? Coram says, heads up, PD going to guest house. What do they say the first fight is about? Her being jealous and yelling at him. Okay, and what's this? Jane and Anton. Okay, on June 20th, who does Jane call? Jamel Douglas, aka Anton. And what was sent to Fahim? Banking coordinator will pick up the cash, $5,000 for you, $15,000 for PD. What injuries are on Jane? Objection, says defense. Sustained. Was this video found on Jane's iCloud? Yes. No further questions. Jurors will break here, says the judge. Okay, so they're back. The judge says, let's get the witness on the stand. The jurors enter. Defense attorney Tini Garagos starts her cross-examination. She says, Agent Cerciello, this exhibit shows expenses paid for Sean Combs. This is an account from QuickBooks. In an abundance of caution, let's turn off the public screens. Garagos says, let's look 7 lines down. The public screens are off. JetBlue, LA agency fee, other AR receipts. Sean Combs, do you see that? Yes. Let's look at line 5, JFK to LAX. Account of Jessica Ruiz, CD Opco LLC, right? Yes. When you did the chart, you only saw the American Express records. I saw what was presented to me. This is another chart that you reviewed. Let's go to page 15, row 39. You listed the lawsuit Ventura versus Combs and Combs' IG video. Do you see this month-to-month lease in Jane's true name? Have you ever seen this exhibit? I have not. Now, according to the Homeland Security agent, he confirmed that many of the incidents listed in the summary charts occurred before April 2023, when Sean P. Diddy Combs began paying rent for Jane's new home. Cerciello also confirmed that there could have been times that Jane and Combs saw each other that were not included in the summary chart. Turn the public screens back on. Here we saw Combs saying, damn, wish you were here, right? Yes. Here Jane writes, I'm horny for you, and put it in deep in me. The next 2 pages are not in your chart, are they? No, I don't think so. She writes, having wine, miss you. That's not included? It is not. She writes, I have some here, but mostly black dominatrix style, right? Yes. I'm going to bring up DX3328 under seal, page 17. Messages between Jane and Carol, who's also known as Sly. Jane writes, I might have some time off. Jane continues to write, hey cutie, how are you? And he writes, just back from cooking for a brunch. I'm one of a kind, baby. She writes back, laugh out loud. These pics, okay, if I fly you out, I'm so horny, I need you. I'm touching myself, right? Yes. The messages you reviewed omitted emojis, right? I'm not sure. Jane writes, see you soon with kissy face emojis, then heart eye emojis. Then Carol / Sly writes, me too. Also with some emojis, right? Yes. Now let's turn off the attorney screens too. Do you see the metadata? Test the headphones to make sure they work. Here's piano music now. Play the video. Video played, but the public screens and the attorney screens are turned off. Gergo says, keep the public screens off. Pull up DX3328. Jane messages Cabral. What does he respond? He texts, I'm just chilling in Houston, waiting for my flight. Jane writes, want to come to Miami? I have a small free window. And then she sends another emoji. Jane writes, oh, Sly, thank you for making me feel so beautiful. And Sly writes back, you called me by my government name. I said, whoa, things getting personal now. Jane writes, I'm traveling. Maybe you can come too. PCR test needed. Jane writes, wait, you have your passport, right? Oh, then don't worry about the PCR test. I know she ain't hit him with the R. Kelly.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your charge?
Your Honor, this is a good place to stop. It's 3 p.m. Okay, jurors, you may go. The jurors leave. Gergo says, I have an hour and 15 minutes or more to go. Judge says, okay. Judge continues, so tomorrow, the cross, then we'll give the jurors a long break for a Rule 29 motion. If it's denied, the defense should be ready to put on its case tomorrow. Closings, Gergo says 4 hours each with jury charge in the middle of Friday. Alexandra Shapiro says we are trying to agree on the jury instructions, but judge says let's say in the RICO conspiracy section you have different positions. Okay, I don't want to break up the closings, so we could stay late Thursday. See you tomorrow. Court is adjourned. So what I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on in the crazy world of the Diddy trial? Leave a comment and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching, but before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.